Hey, why don't you both introduce yourselves so the people that are watching will know who they're talking to?
Sure. My name's Randy Lewis. I'm director of Lake Worth Burrito Project with focused on the homeless and working poor of downtown Lake Worth.
My name is James Capodanno, director of the South Florida Sanctuary, same focus, homeless in Boynton Beach and Lake Worth.
So tell me, what was it that broke your heart for homeless people? What was it that got you involved in this ministry and keeps you going?
I During in the army, I went to Vietnam and saw people living in homes made out of beer cans, flattened out beer cans. I've spent time in Jamaica and saw people living in not much more than that. And when I learned that there were people in the United States actually that hungry and that poor or poorer, it just broke my heart. And it took me years to find what I could do in my little corner of this world. And what it was discover that you make a sandwich or make a burrito and you can change somebody's life for that moment or for that day. And that's what started. And that's what drives me every day. The fact that I can eat 3 times a day. And there's people in my own little town that if someone like me or James doesn't create a meal, it may be till the next day before they get anything to eat. And that shouldn't be, but it is. And that's what I've decided to devote my life to.
Very good.
Yeah, we have so much, all of us, even if we consider ourselves middle class or low middle class, we all have a roof, we all have a bed, we all have a toothbrush, we all have air conditioning and cars. And just to have none of that, just to know that somebody's been stripped of all that, because it's not like they're born without it. They had it for a long time, sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and then it's gone. So they lost their family, their job, their house, their pride. They've lost it all. And all they have is whatever they can fit in a little backpack, which gets stolen more frequently than you can imagine. So it just broke my heart to see that people actually live like that, and I'm living the way I'm living. So I figure like giving back, service. What keeps me going, one of the stories I tell some people, we were at one of our soup kitchens, and a guy named James was walking around looking for rocks, picking them up, putting them in his pocket, and he was intent on finding rocks, and I couldn't really figure out why would you need rocks. So I thought about it, I couldn't figure it out. So I finally said to him, James, you can take all the rocks you want, so I don't think that you're doing anything wrong, but why do you need the rocks? He said, well, when I lay down in the woods and I sleep, the rats, I smell so bad sometimes, the rats come up to me and they bite me. So I can only hear them, it's too dark to see them, so I throw rocks in the direction of the sound. And I just looked at him and I couldn't respond. I couldn't imagine not being in my bed with the ceiling fan and air conditioning and my lovely wife next to me and having rats biting me. I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the stories that just told me how bad it really is. And I'll never quit now.
Yeah. So what is your vision for your ministry? What do you want to accomplish? What do you hope to change?
We would like this. This was originally James's vision, and he's taken it and passed it on to me too. We would like a homeless center in the Lake Worth area, where not a shelter, but a center where people can come and obviously do some laundry and get some food, but get some help with a nurse practitioner or get some job training or point them in the direction of a job. That first step out of the park is the way we phrase it. And but you know what? If we're going to strive for that as long as we can, and hopefully the next generation of us will also. But if we end up just doing the daily needs like we've started, and that's what we're doing when we're old and grayer, then that's what the Lord wanted us to do. Because people like James, he's going to be there forever. A lot of these people are going to be there forever. And the majority of America doesn't care. They're invisible people. Nobody wants to see them. If you don't see them, they don't exist. And so they have to eat. To us, they have to eat. And that's our mission. That's our basic mission. And if we can do more than that, that's fine. If not, God bless us.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be an ongoing need. As long as there are people on the earth, I think. There's always going to be people who need help, need food.
Right.
So, wow. Is there a Bible verse or a passage of scripture that you kind of fall back on that kind of, grabs your attention?
Well, on the back of our shirts, it's Matthew 25:40, which is true. I tell you, whatever you did for at least my brothers and sisters, you did for me, and that wraps it all up. Really, if you only read one passage, and you wonder why do you do this for the homeless? They're called hobos and bums, and they call themselves that. But Jesus said, "Take care of the least of them," and that's what you're doing for me. Well, who's the least in our society? It's the homeless. As Randy said, they're just out there. Nobody really cares. Not to say nobody, but society's kind of turned their back. Well, you made your choices. You made your bed, sleep in it. A lot of people have that attitude. Well, that's not Christianity.
No.
Christianity is forgiveness, compassion, empathy, love, and charity. So for me, it's 25:40, and Matthew 25:40. Every time I pick up the shirt, I read it before I put it on, and that's the one for me.
Yeah. The one that sticks with me is James 2:14-15, where if you see a brother and sister without food or clothing, and you wish them a nice day and do nothing, I paraphrase, what good are you? But I think the wording is, you've done nothing, and what good is what you do? What action? What is it? Faith without action is useless. And so you wish somebody a good day who's obviously not going to have a good day, and you go on about with yours and don't even think about them again. That's not the way I choose to live the rest of my life.
I heard somebody one day say to someone, "Have a good day," and the guy said, "No, I have other plans." And I thought, wow, that's kind of bad, that you already know your day's not going to be good, and because most people say, "Yeah, thanks," and that's it, but he actually responded with something that meant something. And kind of made you stop and think for a minute. And how did you two end up together? Because I know you've both been doing this for a while. How did you finally meet, and how did that all come together, and how are you teaming up?
Well, the homeless brought us together. I was doing my own thing for approximately 8 years. Randy was doing his for even longer. And we went to a homeless coalition event, and they were so excited that we were both in the same place. And one guy grabbed him, and they grabbed me, and they said, "You guys have to meet." We'd heard about each other. I'd heard about Randy through the grapevine, but that was the day we met. And from there, we just literally, we knew we were brothers in arms and kindred spirits, and we've taken it to another level. What was feeding 30, 40 people is now over 200. And the center, as Randy said, is what we really want. A place where they can come every day and get a shower rather than the one shower a week we provide them with. I take sometimes 1 or 2 showers, depending on if I'm at the gym. To take 1 a week, I can't imagine. I just can't even fathom that. So when you come out of the shower, you feel the best. And when you come out of the shower and you have a haircut and you got fresh clothes on, well, now you feel good about yourself. Maybe now you can go on a job interview, or you could start taking a class at a school and not worried about smelling bad and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's our passion. That's when we met at the Homeless Coalition.
And every time we talk about what we would like to do for somebody, the other has already thought about it. And for instance, getting sneakers for these folks is like huge, because they walk around. Maybe they have sneakers that have no bottoms, or they flop around like bozo shoes or whatever. But when I met James, he really did have a car full of bags of sneakers, and he showed me how to go to a warehouse of Goodwill
A Goodwill thrift store.
and just buy bags full of things. And you know, I do a lot of shopping at Restaurant Depot, so I can supply a lot of our plates, cups, stuff for the food that we get from the pantries. And whatever topic comes up, it seems like we're on the same page. We don't.
So you were meant to be.
Yeah.
Seems like, yeah, we were just an accident waiting to happen. And
Yeah.
praise the Lord, He put us together, and hopefully we help a lot more people together than we ever could have.
And you mentioned Vietnam before, as far as the condition of the houses. My father, uncle, a whole bunch of that generation were in Vietnam, and they would tell me that every day they'd be reminded to take care of their feet, make sure their feet are dry, because they were, a wet jungle. And our people are constantly walking in the rain and puddles, and their shoes have holes in them, sometimes no shoes. But you can see when they take off their socks what their feet look like, what they smell like, and it's so dangerous. It's not just aesthetics, it's really just a dangerous thing. So we really try our best to make sure everybody's got a pair of sneakers with good soles.
And
But
socks.
that's very expensive.
Minimal socks.
Our top expense right now, if we had one, would be sneakers.
Wow. So that's one of your biggest needs is
Right. Sneakers and work boots. There's a thing down here called the labor hall, and you can just show up to it and get work. Unfortunately, you need to be wearing steel-tipped work boots, and those are very expensive.
Yeah.
But when a guy comes up to one of us and says, "Hey, do you have any steel-tipped work boots?" what he's saying is, "I'm not one of those lazy bums like the stereotype. I want to work, but they won't let me in these. Can you please help me so I can work?" So it breaks your heart when you don't have them because they're so expensive. So we're trying to fix that riddle, solve that riddle.
We tried recently buying $27 work boots for everybody that came up to us saying that they wanted to work. And all of a sudden, the number like tripled, and we were buying $27 work boots way over our budget. And we can't do it.
And they broke apart after 2 or 3 weeks, which was really depressing. They looked like really good Brahmin, well-built boots. You went to Walmart and saw them and said, "Oh, these will last 6 months." They lasted no more than a month. So it was just money down the drain. So then we learned from that, as we learned from everything, trial and error, that we really need to be buying the 50, 60, the Timberlands, the Caterpillars, all the really good. Well, we couldn't afford the 27.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're really hoping for, is to be able to provide those to able people that want to work.
So what do these guys do for, every winter I get the flu or I get a cold, I get bronchitis. What do these guys do for healthcare? I mean, how do they keep from, I thought I was dying last week just from the cold, from having a cold. What do these guys do for medical care?
They're not shy about going to the ER, and the state, or we, if you will, taxpayers pay for their care, but they're in such bad shape when they do go to the ER. You can't fault them for it.
No.
I don't care who pays for it.
Right.
And so that's what they do. And the people that are able to get around a little bit, they go to the county health building and they can get a health care card if they're truly homeless. We fill out homeless declarations if we know somebody for a long time and they live under that bush over there. We can help get them health care.
Good.
Legitimate health care. So that's awesome.
That's very
But on Thanksgiving Day, I went down to make sure that the people in Bryant Park knew where they could go to get turkey dinners, because everybody wants to feed somebody on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The people that don't care about everybody the rest of the year. But while I was there, two of our friends were sitting over here, and I knew there was going to be a big food giveaway over here. So I went up to them and I go, Danny, do you want to ride over to? He goes, no, I'm going to call ER. He said, I can't walk. What's the matter? He's going to call 911. His legs were swollen like this, as was all of his extremities were like massive. And I went, oh my gosh. I go, come on, just lay down in the back of my SUV. I'll take you. And so I brought him, wheeled him in, and they all went, oh my gosh. Took his vital signs and wheeled him away. And they never did find what was wrong with him, but they did whatever they needed to do to get him about 2/3 of the way down. And but his feet were so swollen that all they could put on were those hospital nubby little things,
Yeah.
and they sent him back to the park. Now, today, he's sitting in the park in those little nubby same ones they let him out with 2 weeks ago, and they told him, don't come back. But they let him back to the park.
Yeah, that when they show up to the ER, it does seem, and I don't want to badmouth any hospitals, but let's get them out of here like they're stray dogs. Because the condition to come back, well, they would never let me out of the hospital with that. There's no way. We had a guy named Sid. He had throat cancer, and he had looked like something in a horror movie. Pus coming out. It was terrible. It was the worst. I said, "You gotta get to the hospital." He goes, "Oh, I was at the hospital yesterday," and they didn't do something about that. My sister's a nurse practitioner. She said, "I cannot believe they let you out of the hospital like that. They just left him to die, and it was really terrible." Remember, Sid, he couldn't swallow. So not having healthcare, you might be able to go to the ER and get some sort of treatment, but it is, hey, don't come back. Just stay out of here. So, and the other thing is they won't go to the hospital for something that you would, because they've given up. Many of them, not all of them, many of them have just given up. They're waiting to die. I tell people that they're kind of like in hospice, except on the street. They're just counting the minutes. They're drinking themselves just to drown their sorrows, numb the pain, get through that day. So when you say, hey, have a nice day, and they say it's not going to be a nice day, or I have other plans, it's because they have a carbon copy life. Every day is just the same. Wake up, be cold, get bit by mosquitoes all night, scratching, miserable, sad, thinking about seeing people in cars, people walking into restaurants, miserable, thinking about you used to have that, it's gone, now you're addicted to heroin or fentanyl overdoses. So you just, what can I do to get through this day? Get a 6-pack of beer, maybe shoot up. So that's why I hope that people will just stop judging the homeless, because until you walk in another man's shoes. Can you imagine the guy throwing the rocks at the rat?
Yeah.
Would you drink if you were him? There's a multi-billion-dollar industry called happy hour. These are people that make good money. They just go there and blow off steam after a work week. How much steam would you blow off if you had rats biting you? So don't judge. Just try to be compassionate, because that's what we're supposed to do, right, as Christians.
Yeah.
We like to think of ourselves as advocates and ambassadors for these folks. For talking to you today, maybe somebody will look at the guy panhandling or the guy passed out on the bus stop bench, maybe look at him a little bit different, instead of coming up to folks like me and him and say, well, you guys are enablers. You guys are enablers. They want to be out here. And they want to be out here. And you're going to give up your house, your family, your car, your everything for a burrito on Saturday and sleep in the park for a sandwich on Tuesday. I don't think so. But people are of that mindset.
And he said that you drive by in your Cadillac, every Saturday they're feeding. I see it Wednesday, Tuesday. I'm going to throw all this away. I can just get food from these guys and sleep on the curb and throw rocks at rats.
No, nobody's going to do that.
Right. So we're not enabling, we're loving.
Nobody chooses that.
And I don't know. I mean, you're probably much more versed in the Bible, but where does it say don't enable? Doesn't say to feed and love and clothe. I don't. The word enable is a dirty word to me. To kind of justify just looking the other way and acting like they don't matter. When you go back to that verse 25:40, that's Jesus. There's a movie, Bruce Almighty, and at the end of the movie, the homeless guy that's been holding the sign of it throughout the movie is God, and he transforms into Morgan Freeman. And there you go. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Let him judge someday. For whatever I've done, you've done, the homeless guy's done, we should not be doing it. We really, in any way, shape, or form, we're all guilty of it. We judge celebrities, we judge guys that kneel down during the Super Bowl. We all judge. It's part of life, but we should try our best, in my opinion, not to judge.
Yeah. So what can our people, if you could say to our congregation, most of whom are middle class, what can they do? How can they get involved in a way that can make a difference?
Well, one thing that I do with all my burrito people, as I call them, we're making bags with a bottle of water, a couple protein bars, a peanut butter crackers, and some Oreo cookies, little quart bag. Keep them in your car, and when you get stopped at that light where forever that dirty old homeless guy will work for food that you know isn't true, does this, and you've gone like this, like all of us do, all of us have, myself included, and I work with them 7 days a week, roll down your window and tell them, here, have a snack, have a blessed day, look at these folks different. That's huge.
Yeah.
And if you start doing that, maybe you'll think, well, you know what? Maybe I'll call James up, see if he needs some help at South Florida Sanctuary doing something. Yeah. Or maybe I'll go roll a burrito with Randy, or maybe many churches have their own ministries, and we would like more people to see them differently, and therefore maybe it'll pluck your heartstrings and you'll want to get involved.
Yeah.
And for people that are watching this that have families and they're busy and they're running kids to soccer and they just can't come on a Saturday or Tuesday, they don't have the flexible schedules. Kids grow out of their clothes. Your husband lost a bunch of weight and his jeans don't fit him. We could use jeans. We could use the sneakers that maybe still have a decent sole, but you bought a brand new pair. And of course, monetary donations. If you don't have any of that and you have a little bit of extra income, give the church X amount, you have a little left, you can throw money. And then we, every week, will be buying these supplies, sneakers, work boots. So really, those are all the different things. The number one would be, the awareness and to make people think about it differently. And that's going to solve the problem in the long run. Yeah. But in the short run, if they wanted to help and this ministry resonates with them, I would say monetary, sneakers, work boots, jeans, shorts, especially men's. Yeah. Women, there are probably 10 men for every one woman. So we need a lot more. And women go through clothes a lot quicker, so they donate. I want to go shopping, so here's a whole bag. And then there's not that many girls. Yeah. And then the guys, we kind of, those jeans, you might have had those for 8 years.
Yeah.
Right, we don't really go through it. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Right. So. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate this. And it's just good to see you, to be with you, and to hear your heart. That really makes a difference. It encourages the rest of us to care a little more. So thank you so much.
We hope so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, James. Randy, thank you.